Bringing People Together, Pernicious Disagreements in a Noisy World. Written by Dr. Evaristo Doria. Narrated by Matthew Longmire. Duration 13 minutes and 45 seconds. Pernicious disagreements erode our ability to find common ground, build consensus, foster meaningful interactions, and nurture tolerance. They exacerbate societal rifts, raising an adversarial mindset that makes it difficult for groups to work together. They hinder the progress of individual nations and impede the advancement of our global community. Pernicious disagreements have long been a part of our history as a civilization. Nevertheless, in today's interconnected and information-rich world, they are on the rise at an alarming rate. It is imperative that we prioritize education in common ground critical thinking as a fundamental strategy to address this significant obstacle to our progress and well-being. Andy Norman directs the Humanism Initiative at Carnegie Mellon University and is the founder of the Cognitive Immunology Research Collaborative Center, CIRCE, dedicated to researching and preventing epidemics of unreason. Andy also authored the groundbreaking book, Mental Immunity, Infectious Ideas, Mind Parasites, and the Pursuit of Enhanced Thinking. During our dialogue, he stated, "Constructive disagreements are a catalyst for individuals to question assumptions, expand their knowledge, and embrace diverse viewpoints, ultimately fostering societal progress. Nevertheless, when our thought processes are dominated by pernicious ideas that fuel extremism, we risk fragmenting societies into potentially hostile factions. This fragmentation undermines the capacity for compromise, consensus, interaction, and tolerance among individuals on both sides." In my book, I use the term mind parasites to describe these infectious notions that drive extreme polarization. Chris DeMeyer is a neuroscientist and director of the Climate Action Unit at University College London. His research focuses on unraveling the mechanisms behind the entrenchment of beliefs in individuals, the subsequent emergence of societal polarization, and the strategies to transcend this divide. He is also the creator of the critically acclaimed documentary, Right Between Your Ears, a captivating exploration of the neuroscientific and psychological underpinnings of entrenched viewpoints. He told me, "In our interconnected society, individuals are exposed to an array of novel topics. When we start to engage with them, we might take a tentative position at first. Every act of liking, commenting, and reposting then strengthens that tentative position, forming ever stronger beliefs and opinions. This phenomenon of self-persuasion is evident in the surge of polarized thinking." Tom Gariello is a psychologist who aids organizations in comprehending the dynamics of human emerging technologies interaction. I contacted him to delve deeper into the psychological factors driving our pernicious disagreements in an interconnected world. During our conversation, he pointed out the following. "Our decisions often deviate from perfect rationality due to constraints like cognitive capacity, the available information, and time limitations. Instead of aiming for the optimal choices, we tend to settle for ones that are merely satisfactory. These cognitive limitations can lead us to perceive issues and evidence differently. Furthermore, we possess an innate tendency to selectively favor information that aligns with our existing beliefs or ideas, a phenomenon known as confirmation bias. Finally, tribalism, deeply ingrained in our evolutionary psychology, can also spark competition and conflict between different groups. In the current information-saturated age, these mental constraints are magnified, contributing to the rising prevalence of what you call pernicious disagreements." Nolan Higdon is a renowned critical media literary scholar and the author of the book The Anatomy of Fake News, a critical news literacy education. He lectures on history and media studies at California State University, East Bay, and is a founding member of the Critical Media Literacy Conference of the Americas. As we spoke, he said, "Misleading narratives and exaggerated tales have the potential to trigger intense emotional reactions, exacerbating societal rifts and deepening divisions within communities. Malicious manipulators engage in a double-sided approach by operating deceptive news websites and bots on both sides of a divide. While there may be minor deviations, unfortunately, this trend is consistently observed across several nations now." We've delved into a range of perspectives, from Andy Norman's exploration of mind parasites and their role in extreme polarization, to Chris DeMeyer's examination of how interconnectedness amplifies confirmation bias and division. We've also reflected on Tom Guriello's insights into cognitive limitations and tribalism, as well as Nolan Higdon's observations on the pervasive influence of false narratives in exacerbating societal divisions. During my next conversation, another fundamental element emerged as a contributor to the escalation of pernicious disagreements: the perception among individuals that they lack equal access to opportunities. Alexander J. Stewart, a researcher at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland, is widely recognized for his expertise in crafting mathematical and computational models to unravel the intricacies of online information ecosystems and their impact on society. In a captivating conversation, he emphasized, "Income inequality driven by unequal access to opportunities has the potential to exacerbate societal divisions and polarization. When certain individuals or groups have limited access to education, employment, and resources, it can create disparities in wealth and opportunities. These disparities, in turn, can breed discontent, resentment, and mistrust among different segments of society. Addressing these inequalities and ensuring equal access to opportunities is crucial for fostering social cohesion and reducing polarization." How to fix the age of pernicious disagreements. Addressing the complex issues of pernicious disagreements in society requires a multifaceted approach. In my conversations, I delved into the possibilities offered by regulations, emerging technologies, and education. When it comes to establishing regulations, the challenge lies in striking a balance between safeguarding freedom of expression and implementing these regulations effectively. Exploring new technologies for early detection and control of false narratives poses the difficulty of ensuring algorithm neutrality, thereby minimizing bias. In all my discussions, a recurring theme emerged, highlighting the significance of educating for common ground critical thinking. Common ground critical thinking refers to a method of evaluating and analyzing issues or ideas by seeking areas of agreement or shared understanding among different perspectives. It emphasizes finding mutual understanding, empathy, and collaboration while also employing reasoning, logic, and evidence-based analysis. This approach fosters constructive dialogue and problem-solving, aiming to bridge gaps and resolve conflicts that arise from diverse viewpoints. Timon de Jong is a behavioral expert and keynote speaker who specializes in the strategic business impact of future human behavior and societal change. He helps people understand what's happening in the world and what people will do next. He is the author of a new and insightful book entitled Future Human Behavior: Understanding What People Are Going to Do Next. He told me, "Regrettably, our modern era is characterized by a rapid rise in extremely polarized thinking. This is why I believe that our education systems which traditionally prioritize the development of students' IQ, should emphasize providing learning opportunities for students to enhance their emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence helps individuals handle extremely polarized thinking by improving emotional control, fostering empathy, aiding conflict resolution, reducing stress, and enhancing effective communication. Christopher Chabris is a professor at Geisinger, a Pennsylvania healthcare system, where he co-directs the Behavioral Insights team. He previously taught at Union College and Harvard University and is a fellow of the Association for Psychological Science. Chris received his PhD in psychology and AB in computer science from Harvard. His research focuses on decision-making, attention, intelligence, and behavior genetics. His work has been published in leading journals including Science, Nature, PNAS, and Perception. Chris is also a chess master and co-author of the bestseller The Invisible Gorilla, published in 21 languages, and a new book on deception and fraud, Nobody's Fool. During our insightful conversation, he told me, "Normally, we try to economize on thinking. In decision-making, this often means going quickly and acting on the information we have at hand. We often do face situations where we must make swift choices with limited data. However, this approach can be problematic when dealing with deception or manipulation, as our adversaries can exploit us if they know we're unlikely to spend time checking. One solution is relatively simple. Ask a few more questions before finalizing a truly important decision." I reached out to Martin Reeves to gain insights on how business leaders can navigate the escalating risks associated with socially divisive topics. As the chairman of the BCG Henderson Institute, he is known for his expertise in leveraging innovative ideas to address societal challenges. Two of his notable contributions are HBR articles entitled How Business Leaders Can Reduce Polarization and Strategy in a Hyperpolitical World, both of which piqued my interest. He told me, "There is an increasing pull for CEOs to take a stance on social and political issues, not least from their own employees. However, they must acknowledge that growing polarization poses persistent risks for businesses, regardless of their public stance. Vocal companies risk backlash, conflicts, and sales declines, while silence can also lead to disloyalty, instability, and missed opportunities. To mitigate these risks, CEOs should begin at home by fostering an inclusive organizational culture, prioritize employee feedback and engagement, and establish clear rules for open and respectful communication, even when disagreements arise. Our collective responsibility is clear: to harness our newfound knowledge and insights in the pursuit of a more harmonious and understanding society.